From Relay FM, this is Connected, episode number 32. Today's show is brought to you by PDF Pen Scan Plus from Smile, the app for mobile scanning and OCR, and Bushel, a cloud-based mobile device management solution for the Mac, iPhone, and iPad. My name is Myke Hurley, and I am joined, as always, by the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net, Mr. Federico Vitici.
Hi, Mike.
Hello, Federico. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you.
And the editor-in-chief and co-founder of Relay FM, the one and only Mr. Stephen Hackett.
Hey, bud. What's
Hello.
up?
How are you?
Good. How's Italy? Is Italy in one piece, Federico?
Still together, I think.
It's good. No civil war or anything.
No. We are not
like
America.
Have you ever had a civil war, Federico, in Italy?
No. I'm really bad at history.
Italian.
I'm Googling
hang
Italian
on.
civil. You definitely did.
There
Yeah, you
was
did.
some kind of...
It was in
I don't know.
1943. It wasn't even long ago.
And it was 2 years
43?
long.
Like,
That
your
was-
grandparents would have been involved in this. Maybe even your parents.
Were they? Maybe they just didn't care. I don't know. No, that was the World War II in 43.
In which the
Come on.
Italian resistance and the Italian
Oh, yeah,
co-belligerent
yeah,
army
that
fought and
one.
defeated the forces of the fascist Italian Social Republic.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, you knew all
Yeah.
about that one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that Civil War. I misplaced that Civil War in my memory.
No, I told you as all sorts of, when I'm supposed to know stuff that involves politics, I tend to just not care. So the moment you mention, the resistance and fascism, my mind just goes blank.
That's okay. I hope that
Yeah.
like your family don't listen to this and get really upset at you.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, a lot of Italian people would get upset. I just don't care about, not Italy, just, politics and stuff.
When I left sort of regular school and we go into what we call college here, which is between the ages of 16 and 18, which at the time was it was like a choice, but now it's compulsory that you have to go into school or some form of higher education until you're 18. One of the subjects that I decided to take for my A-levels was history. And one of the subjects that we did in our first term was the English Civil War, which I found so boring that I dropped the entire subject and I just no longer did that A-level. There you go. There's a Mike fact for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, especially a lot of my friends, they get really upset when I tell them that I don't follow the news when it comes to politics in Italy and stuff, and they get really, really upset. I don't know. I just don't have the time to follow that, theater. I don't know. Just me, not politics on the show.
Stephen, please take us into follow-up.
I will take us into follow-up. So yesterday, I'm going to paint you guys a picture. I get home from work, and there is a package waiting for me. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I order things, and then I lose track of when they're going to show up. So I was like, oh, what did I order that would show up today? And I couldn't think of anything. I did not recognize the sending address. It wasn't from Amazon. It wasn't from Apple. Just a guy. So I cut it open, and it is the QuickTime Live sweatshirt that we talked about last week.
That's incredible.
Wow.
So there's a picture of it in the show notes proving that it exists.
Are you
friend
wearing
of mine, No.
Did you wash it?
Not yet. It is in the laundry though. It's from a friend of mine who listens to the show. So that's how he had my address, and he mailed it to me. And I was really freaked out at first. And then there's like a little piece of paper, like a little eBay receipt, saying, "Oh, this was a gift from so and so." And so big thanks to my buddy Cole for the sweatshirt. Definitely the
I know, Carl.
yeah, you know Cole, the most tangible follow up we've ever had. I can wear the follow up.
You better wear that to WWDC.
I really should. I really should. I should pack that.
Yep.
So that's pretty great. We also have a lot of follow up from Sweden. So the Swedes have come out in force this week about TeleText, which if you missed last week's show, we talked about TeleText, which was this weird like internet over your TV thing that was in Europe for a while, until in the BBC land, in the United Kingdom, until just a couple of years ago, according to the BBC. So we have a couple links here. Gustav wrote in, the V, So the service was huge here in Sweden and is still widely used. It was migrated to digital TV. So that's what we talked about with the two of you, that it more or less went away when the move to digital over the air happened. In Sweden, apparently, it survived, and it is available from the publicly funded TV network's website. So I played with this for a little while. It's in Swedish, so it's not super helpful. But it's really kind of an adorable way to get around the internet because it's just numbers that you would put in with your remote. It's pretty fascinating. Myke, if someone were to want to play with this, how could they find that link?
Well, they could go to our show notes, which you can find at relay.fm/connected/32, or check your podcast app of choice.
We also have in the show notes a screenshot from the Swedish App Store, where the text TV apps do very well. They are in the number one free news app. So in the news category, you can download the iOS app. I did not try this. I didn't see if it was available in the U.S. store. I assume that it's not. But if you have an iPad and you're in Sweden, you can use this on your iPad instead of pointing a remote at television, which is somehow even stranger.
Federico, this feels like something that is ultimate for you. You can get it on the store, Text TV on the App Store. I'm going to put it in the show notes. I feel like now you can finally use your iPad as a consumption device.
Exactly.
That's a good joke, Michael.
Joke will never end, my friend. It's gonna.
Yeah, I should actually check out one of those Italian teletext apps. They're really popular on the Italian App Store. I guess because people like my dad still read the teletext, maybe? I don't know.
You should do it and then follow up next week. So that's your homework. But we need to be fair. We want to be fair to all nations and creeds. So Sweden is not the only country we have heard from this week. In the Netherlands, it is also still around from the public TV organization. And there's a site here as well, nos.nl / something in Dutch. But so my favorite part about this website is that on the left it puts the teletext screen, and on the right hand side puts a fake remote, so you can navigate this as if you were at your TV. It's really quite wonderful, and I really just love how we have gone down this route to something I was not kidding last week. I had no idea this existed, so it's been very fun for me.
I find something so beautiful about Dutch, like the word teletext. The way that they spell it in Dutch is just so beautiful. TELETEKST, teletext. Like it just, I don't know. There's just something about the way that they write a lot of their words. Like I see one button here which is like about cookies, which is cookie instellingen aanpassen. I don't know. I really like Dutch. Have either of you ever been to Amsterdam? I'm going to probably guess no.
I've been through the airport, but that's it.
Schiphol.
No, I've never been. My friends went for obvious reasons. I didn't.
I have been to Amsterdam on a purely cultural basis.
Sure.
As well. No, seriously.
Sure.
I went with a previous girlfriend. And we went to the museums, and went to the canals and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
As well as all of the obvious things.
There it is.
Exist. No, that wasn't on. Wait.
So you pointed out the word that you like. My favorite thing about this screenshot is that sport and disclaimer are just English words. Sport is channel 601, and the disclaimer is on 393 if you need to check that out later.
Unless they mean completely different things.
Yeah, sport could mean news, and disclaimer could mean sports.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Who knows how words are formed? Myke, the next follow-up from Adam on Twitter is directed at you.
Yep.
Did you ever take the Bamboozle quiz?
Yes. And friend of the show, Mr. Ian Broom, wrote to me today to remind me about the Bamboozle quiz.
What is a bamboozle?
So this was just the name of a quiz that was on Channel 4's teletext, so you could play a game on it.
I'm just looking at the screenshot.
Yeah, it's called
This
Bamboozle.
looks like a fake Simpsons on the teletext.
So do you remember how I was saying like you could kind of do like make your own adventure type things? You'd go to the right pages or the wrong pages depending on the answers, and you'd type in numbers and it would tell you if you was right or wrong. So bamboozle.
So
pretty
did you
great.
play this?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Were you good at it?
I don't remember. I probably wasn't because I would have been very young.
How did you feel while you were playing the quiz?
Probably stupid. I'm gonna go with stupid. These are really weird questions that you're asking me right now, and I think you both know you're doing it. So I don't really know what to do.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Sounds like a normal question to me. Oh, by the way,
So,
I see an old Mac in the follow-up, so just assuming it's related to you.
yeah, so Paul Moore, he just gets me, and he wrote in to say that his old Mac, a Performa, so some of the Performas you could put a TV card in, you could run like antenna or coax into the computer, not to be confused with the Mac TV, which is a totally different model. Said with the TV card you could do teletext and even copy text from pages to the clipboard, so you could have text in a teletext article and then like paste it into AppleWorks, which is really the most strange sentence I've ever said related to technology. But
I
pretty
can't
great.
believe the amount of teletext follow-up that we have had.
I mean, think about it, Steven. What are the chances of another person on Earth who owned an old 68K Performa and listens to a podcast where they mention teletext and tweets back saying that he used to do the clipboard copying on this old Mac, and you happen to be on this podcast? It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty
Special.
pretty special. The stars have aligned, I would say.
There's other people like you out there.
Oh yeah, there are dozens of us.
Yeah.
It's an Arrested Development reference. So the next bullet point I didn't write. It says turning off the Wi-Fi, and why Federico is dumb. So
I really hoped you didn't write this. Otherwise,
No.
I was worried there was going to be a fight.
No, Federico, what's going on with your Netgear?
I'm stupid. That's what's going on. Basically, there's a setting in the administration ugly webpage that you get with the Netgear device by default. Of course, when you go there, you can go to advanced settings and you can schedule the Wi-Fi to be off for a certain period of the day, and you can set a schedule for you can say do this every day. So at this very specific time, turn the Wi-Fi off and turn it back on at this other time. Or you can set you can do this every day or choose the days where these settings repeats. And what's nice about this is that you don't have to turn off the entire device. It's just the Wi-Fi is turned off and back on. And so yeah, I'm very much dumb because I should have looked before.
Didn't
now
you
I'm
say
using...
that you didn't want to put it on a fixed timer though?
Yeah, that's a problem because now that I've discovered this setting, there's another issue. What if I don't know? What if I wake up earlier,
Or you work late?
Or I work late and I need to adjust the Wi-Fi time? I'm pretty sure there's no Netgear app that lets me do this easily. And even if it existed, I mean, the Wi-Fi is off. So I would have to go into the settings with my computer, not using the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi is off. So I will need to get an adapter, plug in the Ethernet cable into my computer, and override the setting. So I'm not sure if this setting is what I want to do, what I want to choose. I don't know. See, this is a whole problem for me. Pretty sure I should just give up.
So was it that the Wemo, is it called the Wemo? What's it called?
The Wemo.
The Wemo cannot turn on without there being Wi-Fi.
The Wemo rules that you can set up in the Wemo app, they are triggered by over the internet.
Right.
So, which is kind of silly. I mean, I thought that rules could be like stored locally on the device, and instead they are activated from your Wemo account, I suppose. So for a rule to run, the Wemo needs to be connected to the Wi-Fi. So if the Wi-Fi is off, the Wemo doesn't turn on. But also this solution in the Netgear settings is not optimal for me.
No.
And so either I just give up, or I go through this whole process of using the router settings webpage in my computer, which is also awful. I don't know.
Can it? So
Can you
does it turn off? Does it turn off the wireless connection, or does it turn off the
Just the
connection to the
wireless.
internet?
Just Wi-Fi.
Right.
The device stays connected to my DSL line,
Yeah.
and the Wi-Fi is off. See, that's a problem because okay, cool, because it's not like I'm turning off the entire device, but I'm not using any Ethernet cables either.
No.
So it's basically useless. It's the same if you were turned off. Really, I don't know.
And can you remind the listeners and me why you need your Wi-Fi off at night?
Because of another personal story.
Yeah, he
that I
never said that.
I
The
just
reason
need
was
to.
there's a personal
Just
reason.
take my word for
'Cause
granted.
someone asked me why you were trying to do this, and I couldn't remember. So
Yeah,
okay.
so I was asked to find a way to do this, and there's no easy way that wouldn't require us to go there each morning and turn on the Wi-Fi manually, which we don't want to do. So what you need to know is that right now I've been using the Wemo to turn on my coffee machine remotely, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So when I'm driving home, I can
Oh.
use the I use the Wemo app,
Home
and the
automation.
and the espresso machine is turned on. And when today, for instance, I walked into my apartment, and the espresso machine was hot, and I brewed my espresso, and then it turned off automatically. I felt like a king.
See, that's
Because
the problem with this stuff is you feel like a king until it does just one thing that you can't solve. Have you tried any other brands of home automation switch?
Do you have any brands you would recommend?
Smart things? I think.
Oh no, that's by Samsung. I'm not buying Samsung stuff.
Really?
Oh, come on.
What's the one that David Sparks uses? Isn't it the Smart Things?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, didn't know they
I
bought them.
guess.
It's not by Samsung. Come on,
Well,
Federico.
Come on, it's
Don't-
the same.
Don't be that guy.
What if they work though?
I bought a Samsung television because it's a nice display.
Right.
But stuff for my house that controls my lights and I don't know.
You know, Samsung
just
builds
that guy.
everything. You have Samsung parts inside your iPad. It's like not.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, Mike.
Well, I don't know if there's Samsung parts inside my iPad.
There
In
definitely
theory.
are. Mike, can you put us out of our misery?
Yeah,
Talk about
there
a
is a
friend?
solution here. I don't know what it is yet, but one day we will before too long, Federico, we will solve this problem for you.
No, we won't. There's really no way to solve this, and it's terrible
I'm
because I
convinced
really
there
wanted
is.
to. The only solution would be for Wemo or any other company to store rules locally into the switch. That's the only way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure. I bet that there is another one of these connected home things that could do this, but I just don't know what one it would
Can
be.
you imagine if the smart things is the only one?
Then get the smart things. They existed before Samsung.
Ah.
Come
we'll
on.
see.
I'm gonna buy
We'll
you
see.
one. I'm gonna buy you one.
No,
I'm
don't
gonna
buy
do
me
it.
stuff.
I'm gonna buy you one.
Why
And then I'm
you
gonna
have
buy
all-
you a Nest,
you-
and I'm gonna buy you.
You always have this urge to buy me stuff.
because I
I'm
want to
not
infiltrate
poor.
your home with connected
Why
devices
you
for
want to?
companies you don't
You
trust.
want to? You just want to project your shopping problem onto me.
Yes,
Wow.
because it's not really my shopping problem if I'm just buying you gifts. It's a whole different thing. What about the iSmart alone? No, it's a home security
What's
system.
a nice what?
I don't know. It's on the Apple Store. I'm looking
Are you
now.
just looking at the Apple Store for gifts?
Well, I'm looking. Oh no, I was gonna say what about the Belkin, but no, that's the Wemo.
You
What's
can buy
the
me stuff,
Insight
Mike.
Switch? They have a couple of different ones. What is the Insight Switch?
Can
all
you
about?
can you buy me a new car, Mike?
Yes. As soon as Apple release one, I will buy you one. How about that?
See, that's the kind of gift that I would really welcome into my life.
I'm looking at a different Wemo Switch here.
Also, don't buy me a Nest because I'm not sure I can use a Nest in Italy.
You don't know if you have the correct wiring.
I don't even know what's a wire.
But that's a significant problem.
See, I call people for this stuff. I don't fix stuff in my house because I create damage. I don't do wires. I call the wire guy. That's how I do things.
I think we've asked you this question before. Can you have the router in your bedroom?
It is in my bedroom.
So why can't you just reach over and turn it off?
It's the principle.
Oh, Federico. I thought it was in a totally different part of the house.
No, it's
I'm
right
done with trying to help
It's
you.
on my nightstand.
I'm done with trying to help you now. This week's
No.
episode of Connected is brought to you by Bushel, the cloud-based mobile device management solution for the Mac, the iPhone, and the iPad. What Bushel allows you to do is say you have a small business or you have a small team, and in that team or business, you manage Apple devices, and you want to be able to get apps onto devices and set up like email accounts and different security settings, basically to help people get ready to do work with either their devices or the devices that you give them. What Bushel allows you to do is, unlike a lot of other products like this, you don't need a dedicated IT manager or have read like a bunch of books to understand how to use it. It has been built fundamentally to be easily used and understood by anyone. It has a really smart, clean, simple, easy to understand user interface, but it puts great power at your fingertips. Like I mentioned before, like you set up email accounts, right? So you have like a work email account, maybe like an Exchange account or a Google Apps account or something that's got like really complicated security. You can basically set it all up and just push that information out to devices. You can do this all wirelessly. It can enforce passcodes in case, you're working with clients that have really sensitive data, so you want to make sure the devices are locked down. And let's say that somebody lost a device, they lost their iPhone or their iPad that's got their work stuff on it, you can wipe it remotely. You can also remotely install apps onto people's devices as well. You can also silo those apps. So let's say, for example, you use Box in your company and you store all of your documents there. You're actually able to lock Box down so you can't transfer the data from within that application. You can't transfer the files to other apps. I didn't even know you could do this, but it's something that is able to be taken advantage of in iOS, and that's what Bushel, they put that power right into your hands. You can also help with bring your own device scheme in your workplace, so you don't have to, as a business owner, buy a bunch of iPhones. If everybody has iPhones, you can just install the specific stuff that people need to work in your workplace. You can put all of that stuff on there, and if they ever leave or they change device, you can take all of those settings, all of those apps, all of that data up without touching any of that person's personal information as well. So it kind of just keeps them separate, and it makes people just have to have one phone rather than two phones. You don't need a day phone and a night phone. With Bushel, you can just have one phone. Bushel allows for super simple automatic setup of Apple devices in your workplace, allowing you to simply configure and manage them without having to devote all of the resources of a dedicated IT manager. With Bushel, you can get all of the control that your business needs without having to lose all of your time. You can sign up right now at bushel.com. That's bushel.com/connected. The first 3 devices that you register will be free for life, and for any more, it's just $2 per device per month. So it's an awesome deal. Go and try them out. Thank you so much to Bushel for supporting this show and Relay FM.
We have a topic 0 this week.
Okay.
And it's the Becoming Steve Jobs book. It's gone on sale today. Obviously not prepared to talk about the book because none of us have read it yet. I just wanted to point out how interesting it is that Apple is promoting it. So there's a link to Mac Rumors that, Eddie Q was quoted, about the book, and the iBooks team had just been like tweeting about it for weeks, and I thought it was really interesting. They even had a spokesperson in the New York Times say that it was better than anything they've seen.
John Gruber said the same, right, as well?
Sure.
He did.
I just find it really interesting that it is a like they didn't say a word about the Isaacson book. They didn't have said a word about anything else. They basically ignore the fact that there's like blog coverage and stuff. They have journalists come to events, but that's about as far as it goes. And so this is basically like the gold stamp from Cupertino. So I'm looking forward to reading it. Are you guys gonna pick this up?
Yeah. I think I will get a Kindle copy. Just because I have a lot of Kindle credit in my Amazon account, just more convenient. Also, the Kindle app is not too bad. I think it used to be worse. Now it's kind of decent. I also am trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible, which can be difficult these days because every Apple blog, except a few ones, are basically posting news from the book, which is kind of silly, but I guess it makes sense for page views. So I set up a filter in NewsBlur, which is my RSS app of choice, and I'm trying to avoid all the spoilers there. The problem is Twitter, and now I'm gonna get YouTube and other people saying, you can set up filters in Tweetbot.
I wasn't going to say that. You said it for me. I didn't even think of it.
I don't use Tweetbot, so no filters on Twitter, which has been problematic because, I see the blog people posting the news, but I'm surviving, and so I'm gonna read the book, Steven. That was a long answer. I'm sorry.
I haven't seen any information about the book yet. Anyway.
Well, you don't follow the right people.
I follow you.
See? You're getting it.
Hey, can you guys guess how I am going to consume this book?
I don't know, the audio
version.
Yeah.
Version. Yeah.
I've already downloaded it, and I'm going to be listening to it on my travels. It's 16 hours long, and I'm really excited about it. I got audible.com when I got it on Audible. They're not a sponsor. When I downloaded it, and I signed up for it was like £25, or I could sign up for a new account because I had an old account and get it on the free trial and pay £7. So I did that, and then I'm just gonna cancel.
Myke, do you do anything to compensate for your lack of usage of your site?
I look at things all the time.
Really?
I'm looking at stuff right now.
Well, you're not really looking, you're seeing. You don't really exercise your eyesight because you either talk or you listen to audiobooks and videos, but you never really read.
But why do... I don't think you understand how eyes work. I'm concerned a little bit now.
No, I do understand. It's just you need to exercise them also.
I do read things. I'm reading these web pages. I'm reading them right now. I just don't read books.
Promise me you're gonna read a book this year.
No. Promise me you'll turn off your modem by the wall every night. There we go. You start doing that, and I'll read a book. Okay. I'll read a book about modems.
We'll follow up on this.
So today is a question and answer episode of Connected. And you might be thinking to yourself, is that because no one came up with topics? And you would be more or less correct.
So there is a thing about this. Like, I was thinking about this. Like, why are we doing Q&A today? And then I was listening to the talk show, and they were talking about the gap currently between where we are from product announcement to product release.
It's Apple's fault.
We are in like a valley at the moment of awaiting stuff.
The valley of the shadow of Apple Watch.
Yep. So here we are. We have a Q&A episode. I like Q&A. I mean, I have shows that have their whole components, whole verticals actually about Q&A. So
can we do the round robin?
Yeah. My thought was we could round robin based on Myke has very helpfully organized these by subject. So I figured one of us could ask all, like per subject, and we just go around. So
So that's like a round robin.
Yeah, it's
the double round robin.
It's like Robin cubed.
Federico, do you want to start with the Apple Watch questions?
Sure. Listener Justin is asking, do your significant others plan on getting Apple Watches? Based on your comments or independent desire or lack thereof, I would love for mine to have one for digital touch and messaging, but she thinks it is ridiculous. So I'm gonna reply first. Yes, Justin, my girlfriend is planning to get an Apple Watch. We still don't know, both of us, which model we wanna get. Also, my mom is really interested into getting one, and she keeps saying that the gold one looks nice. I'm pretty sure she doesn't know the price. So I think she'll eventually end up with an Apple Watch Sport, because she also mentioned, yeah, the gold is nice, but also the bands in the Sport one are colorful, and I like them. So I'm fairly sure that when I'll mention the price, she'll go with the Sport one. And I talked to a bunch of friends over the weekend. They really complained about the pricing of the. My friends are, at least these two friends, they are watch people. They wear traditional watches. And they spent hundreds of euros for these watches. I'm talking stuff like Citizen and all these other popular brands. And they were really upset because they mentioned there's a price gap between the Sport and the Apple Watch Steel, and they argued that it was too much and that the bands were too expensive for the Steel. And so I asked them, but are you still gonna get an Apple Watch? And they were like, yeah, sure, just want to complain about the price. So I know a few people who are planning on getting an Apple Watch, and they are already asking me all sorts of questions about apps and stuff, which I don't know the answer
to. Mike, you answered this last week, right? That you're both getting watches?
Yeah.
My wife thinks it's a ridiculous device and a ridiculous use of money. So I will just be emotionally touching Myke and Federico, but not my wife.
I look.
to.
Excellent. we have that to look forward to then, I guess.
Yeah,
that's great news. That is great news.
Looking forward to couples therapy.
Oh, it's gonna be so awkward, isn't it? Everyone touching each other all the time. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Can we switch to the next question?
Yes.
Listener Amir.
Yeah,
Amir
is good. Yeah.
What changes do you see happening between version 1 and version 2 of the Apple Watch? Myke?
Battery life. I don't think we're going to see any changes in screen sizes for a long time, if ever. Like, I think the only way the screen sizes change is the physical size changes is people's wrists have to get bigger. I think the screen might get bigger, it might push further and make smaller bezels. But we'll have to see about that.
Small what?
Never mind. I think...
Oh, that's the ATP thing, right? Yeah.
I think that battery life will be a key part. I think it being more independent, even more so, might be another part of it. I guess from my tiny brain right now, that's kind of all I can think of.
What about you, Steven?
I agree with Myke. I think battery life is something that I would hope would improve. I think GPS will show up at some point, maybe not in version 2. I could see that being like a version 3 or beyond. But I think something that would be welcome for people who want to run with it without their phone and keep up with where they have gone. I do think that they will change the maybe not the cases, but the band lineup, to keep those fresh over time. And that might not have to be necessarily tied with version 2, but, maybe in the fall or, some point they introduce some new bands, some bands go away. I think they'll kind of be changing that as they go.
Yeah, I'm still not sure whether I see more Apple doing the thinner kind of upgrade that they do on the iPhone and on the iPad, or if they're gonna keep the same form factor for the second generation one, assuming there's going to be a second generation one, and assuming there is going to be an annual release cycle.
I still don't think there will be. I still think that the release cycle will be for longer than annual,
yeah.
and the bands will be annual or seasonal.
I don't know. It's a new territory.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if it'll be like thinner and lighter like an iPhone, or if they're gonna prioritize, different materials, battery life, maybe find a way to upgrade the chip inside without replacing the entire device. I don't know. I'm just excited to see native apps coming to later this year, I think they said. But that's not really version 2. That's just, a software change. So I don't know. That was a good question, listener Amir. There's a Chris with another Apple Watch question. Are you going to pre-order an Apple Watch sight unseen, or go to try on appointment at an Apple store first? So I'm gonna reply first here. I will definitely go to an Apple store. And actually, if Apple is doing, when the Italian launch happens, whatever that is, if they're doing any of that pop-up shops in Rome or somewhere close, I don't know, in Florence, Milan is too far away. If they do any of that, I will go to the what's the name? In-store
try on?
In-store, yeah, try on, yeah. If they do, I don't know, some pop-up shop in the center of Rome, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I definitely, I'm not buying one without trying an Apple Watch first.
I'm going to order one and then go and do the try on, because I want to make sure that I can get it on launch day. Yeah. So there's a couple of things. So one thing that's not clear, and I know I'd seen this, I think, on 9 to 5 Mac somewhere, or Mark Gurman had tweeted about it, saying about how when you go and do the try on, they may actually book one for you to go and pick up on the day. So basically, I would do that. So this is kind of I have a multi-tier strategy here, guys. Are you ready? So I'm gonna order one. I'm gonna pre-order one on the 10th. Then I'm gonna book to go and try one out. If I either change my mind, or if they say to me, you can come back and pick it up in store, I will then cancel my pre-order and do one of those two things.
This sounds just like when you ended up with 2 iPads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you remember that? What? I don't even know. I don't even remember how that happened.
Oh, this is exactly how it happened.
Is that what I did? Oh yeah, I ordered one and then went to an Apple store and I had them, and then I had 2.
And you somehow forgot to cancel the pre-order, I think.
Yeah, or it already dispatched and I couldn't cancel it. I did return that though. I didn't keep multiple iPads. But I will. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how it will end up being, but that's kind of my current plan of attack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty confident in the one that I'm going to order, being the 42mm black sport model. So my plan is to pre-order it. I will still go to the store and try it on, mainly so I can talk about what that experience is like, and not so much thinking that it might change. But yeah, so my plan is to pre-order. Go from there.
Cool.
And that about sums up all the Apple Watch questions.
Steven, do you want to go next? Oh, no, I'm going next. Who assigned these in the document? You did that, didn't you? Yeah, you did that. Okay, so this comes from listener... that's how you said her name, apparently. Eitan? We'll go with every pronunciation, and we probably got it. What do your iOS home screens look like right now? So we're going to include in the show notes an image of our home screens currently. I will say that I don't think I've changed an awful lot about my home screen since we did the episode previously. So maybe I have like workflows on here now, which is a newer addition, I think. But yeah,
Still using 7 to do apps, so that's still the same.
no, I have 4 actually.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
If you count Fantastical 5,
I don't put to-dos in reminders. I'm a civilized human being.
that's convenient. So 4. Making progress there, Mike.
Yeah. I'm I hate you. I don't even really use Silo and Clear that much. They're just I don't
Why'd
really
you
have
keep
anything
them
else to
there?
put there. I don't have anything else to put there.
Put an icon with your face. I don't know.
That's a
Do
good
something.
idea. I should put my
Wow.
face there.
Oh God.
Mine's pretty different. Have been playing with Todoist. Move stuff out of OmniFocus into Todoist. I'm not positive that's going to stick yet. It's just been an experiment for the last couple of weeks. I switched out my weather app to Storm, which is this app by Weather Underground that's really great. And I have moved out of Evernote into Simple Note, so that's now on my home screen from last time.
Oh, that's
shared
a
it on the
topic
show.
later, so we'll bring that up in a bit.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun, Mike.
Well, you did.
Calm down.
You did jump the gun.
So my home screen, I guess it changed a bit since the last time. Still going through changes because of this iPhone 6 Plus that I'm trying, and
Oh, yeah, you're not using the stock wallpaper anymore.
not using. I went with a simple black wallpaper actually a few months ago, both on the iPhone and the iPad. And again, Mike, you know of this problem that I have because of virtual. My problem with too much choice. So I just went nuclear on this, and I just went with the black wallpaper. So I don't have to choose nothing. It's just the icons, which is actually really helpful in quickly seeing where my stuff is. What's new here? Bunch of betas, as usual. Still using Todoist, which is coming out with version 10 soon, which is awesome. Switch to Pocket for reading stuff later. I think I'll have to write about this. Also, I still have to write about NewsBlur, which is my new RSS client for now about 3 months. Really, really happy with this. I gotta talk about Google Inbox also.
A Google
email.
inbox, you say?
Yeah, Google
Wouldn't
Inbox.
you have to be a Gmail user?
Yeah, so we will talk about this.
Oh, I'm sure we will,
soon.
yeah. Mike was right, 2015.
What? I hate you, Mike.
It's the year of Mike, man. It's happening.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, what else? Do Note, which is in the bottom row alongside Workflow and LifeSum. Do Note is actually interesting because all this stuff IFTTT is doing with all these new channels, and also because I bought a lot of home automation devices, I can use these apps more. This is actually like a bunch of topics for the future. Google stuff, Pocket, Todoist 10. There's a lot of stuff we need to talk. The Sunrise beta, they're doing some awesome work there. Yeah, this is actually not a home screen. It's like a to-do list.
It's like a work in progress. This is like articles coming up page.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the 6 Plus because it gives me more room for apps and betas, which is nice.
We have more about the 6 Plus a little later on.
Yeah.
So kind of leading on from this, we have Spencer who asked us what our current wallpapers are on the iOS and Mac. Federico is sporting a very attractive black number right now. I'm assuming that Federico doesn't have a wallpaper on his Mac.
Yeah, it's the default one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I use a Mac twice a week, so it's not a problem. And also, I don't see the wallpaper much because I have a dock at the bottom and all my windows on top of the dock. So I just see 2 stripes on both sides of the dock. Like most people in this planet who use a Mac, they're not weirdos like you who insist on keeping the dock on the left and the right. You can send follow-up email to Steven about this. But yeah, the wallpaper is not a problem for me.
It's just like, I think we need to rename this from round robin to just round trolling. That's effectively what this is right now. Stephen, what is your wallpaper on your iOS and Macintosh devices?
It is an image from 50 Foot Shadows, which is a really great photography blog. I have a link to the exact page. It's from his dust collection, which he actually shot here in Memphis, which is super cool.
This is a dusty town.
It is. So John Carey is a great photographer, one of my favorites, and so I have it from there. My wallpaper on my MacBook Pro is an image from NASA of their new Orion capsule, which is what's going to take man to Mars, and it's floating in the ocean after a test, and there's a battleship behind it to come swoop it up and take it back to land, and it's awesome because space is awesome. So I have a dropper link to that in the show notes.
Did you take that photo?
No, it was made available to me by the NASA website.
They sent it to me personally.
Yes.
My iPhone has one of the stock wallpapers. Up until like 2 days ago, I kind of had forgotten about it. It's a really weird thing. I was like, oh yeah, that's what I use. I don't know how that happened. I just ignored it for a long time. I still like it. It matches the red case of my iPhone quite nicely. So I'm happy about that. My Mac desktop I am a Patreon supporter of CGP Grey, and he has a selection of wallpapers for his Patreon supporters. And if you've seen his animals voting in the animal kingdom, that's it. He had some artwork done, and I have the lion as my background right now. So there you go. That is what I have.
Sweet. So the next section is workflows with a Z.
To show how exciting it is.
Yeah. So Nathan asks, demands, I would love to hear more about Mike's workflow when editing the show in Logic. I'm a Pro Tools user, but am getting into Logic.
So I included this, and have no idea how to really answer it. And that was why I included it. Because I feel like it's been a little while since I demonstrated my cluelessness. So I figured I would do that right now. So I don't record directly into Logic. Everyone records separately, and then we put it in there. Because I find Logic to be hilariously unstable. Logic, I think I may have spoke about this in this show recently. I did somewhere. Like, Logic is so unstable that if you try and open more than one Logic project, it warns you. Like, are you sure you want to open more than one? Like, if you have more than one Logic project open at once, it gets, things go horribly wrong. But that's just one example of how it can be unstable. So I kind of just drop everything in, line it all up, and I edit. Like, I don't really know what to say. I use a trackpad and a mouse to edit. Which is magic if people see me do that. That's so I can use the trackpad for the zooming features and for panning around the waveforms. And I use a mouse for precision editing. Do either of you have any questions to help guide me? Like, I don't really know what to say. Like,
no, it's really sort of too open-ended. I mean,
it's very, very difficult because I don't do.
How do you bounce the shows? Like, what's the export like? Talk about that, I guess.
I have the settings that we choose: MP3, 96K mono, and they bounce quickly. It's like I don't
Mac Pro.
well, like the other thing is, Logic is extremely powerful, and I use the tiniest slither of its capability, and that's the same for most podcasters. Like, I have a few, I have some templates set up, and we have some, noise gating, and I give Federico some extra bass because I think he sounds more attractive that way. Did you know I did that for you, Federico?
You give me extra bass?
I give you extra bass.
I'm all about the bass.
Exactly. So that's why I give you more of it.
Thank you.
The only person I give anything like that to. I give you more bass. Because when we moved you from the Yeti to the Rode Podcaster, you
and
lost,
also from the bathroom to an actual room.
You lost bass, and I wanted to give you more, so I give you some bass to make your voice more warm for the listening audience. And yeah, if you have any further questions about that, I would be happy to answer them. But I'm afraid that maybe I have done a terrible job.
John asks, "Are you still using Evernote? If not, what have you switched to?" So I'll answer. Like I said a second ago, I have moved like text note stuff into Simple Note. The bulk of what I had in Evernote though was stuff that Myke, you and I shared for running Relay. As you might imagine, dear listener, it takes a lot of there's a lot of stuff that we have to keep up with, and you and I have basically migrated our entire business to Google Drive.
Whoa. Let's back up on that a little bit. There was no me in this. You migrated us.
You were fine. I mean, the important stuff was already in there. We already had our budgets and calendars and stuff in Google Drive, so it was really just moving the tech stuff to it. So.
I literally had no say in this. Just one day, it all appeared in Google Drive, and I was told that everything new was going in there. Just want to let you know, everyone, this is how our business works.
What about the two of you? I noticed it's still on both of your home screens.
Yeah, because I tried to at least consider the option of leaving Evernote and going with another solution, because I don't like some of the stuff they've been doing. We talked about this, and Myke disagrees with me, but it's fine. We're still friends. So I tried to. We're still friends, right, Myke?
Oh, 100%, like best friends.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I tried to consider the option, and when I was thinking about this, I made a list of the things that I need in Evernote, and these are support for rich text, the ability to create notes that combine text and PDFs and images, the ability to share a notebook with another person, that person be my girlfriend, and perhaps the single task that I do the most in Evernote every week, the ability to use third-party apps to append text or links to an existing note. So I consider two options. Either I split up Evernote in a bunch of apps. So I do, plain text and rich text with an app. Then I do images and PDFs with Dropbox. And then I collect, links and text in another way. Or I go with OneNote by Microsoft. My problem is that basically I can't find an alternative that works as easily as Evernote does for me. And in spite of the stuff that I don't like, such as the context feature that they did, the fact that Evernote always shows me some kind of advertisement when I open the app, I still need its functionality, because I have this workflow that I use in the app called Workflow also, that I use to append links to two notes. One that I keep for virtual, which is the show that Myke and I do for video games, and another note that I keep for Mac Stories Weekly, our newsletter. And in just 3 seconds, I can append text and links to those two notes. And then when the time comes, I open the note, I copy all the links, and I do stuff with them. And I looked around. I consider Google Docs. I consider OneNote. I consider doing workflows with plain text and Dropbox. Evernote is just too easy, and it's got all these features. So even if they do a couple of weird things that I don't like, it's still the better solution for me. Again, a long answer. I hope that's okay.
Well, no, but it's good. It's good to know. I mean, for me, my main use of Evernote, and I still consider it to, in my opinion, I know that other people feel differently. For me, there is no better app for traveling documents.
Absolutely.
Everything that I do when I'm traveling, I put it all in there, and and I love it for that.
You told me to do the same when I went to San Francisco, so I created an offline notebook, and I kept all my documents and references in there with a copy of with a good picture of my passport also, and I saved the notebook offline to the top of my shortcuts, and it was a huge help. Yeah.
And
totally
like, so
agree.
you just what I like is I get an itinerary or something, I just email it to Evernote. And I know that there are apps and services that do it, but the apps and services that do it, they have like a vested interest to try and upsell me on their like you could get a car from the airport type stuff, and like for whatever Evernote may or may not be doing, their business model isn't tied to like travel services, and like I'm just not interested in that. I just like all of my documents, like my passport and all that sort of stuff, to have scans in there. Like Evernote is killer for that, and you can download it all. Yeah, it works really great. Should we take a quick break, and then we got a bunch more stuff, including what's probably going to be the greatest segment, which is personal stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
got a lot of personal questions.
I like getting personal with you guys.
Good, because you're gonna. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Smile Software and PDF Pen Scan Plus. PDF Pen Scan Plus is the mobile app for scanning and OCR. It allows you to scan documents using OCR directly from your iPhone and iPad camera. It's a super powerful, really beautiful app, but more importantly, it can always be with you. And that's what makes it so awesome. Like, you know, if you're out at a restaurant and it's obviously a business restaurant dinner that you're going to claim back on your taxes, you're able to take a scan of the receipt right there with your iPhone. You know, these things are really powerful because they sit in your pocket. PDF Pen Scan Plus 2.0 has been released just recently, I think about a week or so ago, and is a free upgrade for existing users. And now it can help you blast through stacks of documents and receipts better and quicker than ever before. PDF Pen Scan Plus now automates capturing an image, cropping it, and setting the size and color depth of the scan. It takes all of the taps out of the scanning process, so it's much faster and easier to use than ever before. You just point your phone and it just does it. Just go. Point your phone and go. And of course, you can export multiple documents all at once, making batch scanning even easier than ever. When you combine this with on-device OCR and automatic uploading to iCloud or Dropbox, you have all of the scanning and OCR power that you're going to need on that device that can just sit in the palm of your hand. PDF Pen Scan Plus's OCR allows it to even name files automatically by date and lets you grab the text of your scan for copying and pasting to other apps. These new features of PDF Pen Scan Plus, it's just one other way that Smile is helping me to be able to do my business on the go. They make such fantastic products that allow me to get my work done in a way that I'm happy with. I'm at the point now where there are some, like, Smile's apps, I actually can't work without them. You know, like this, and we've got like regular PDF pen on the desktop, text expander, like these apps, I can't work without them anymore. That's what I love about Smile. PDF Pen Scan Plus is now also available in the PDF Business Kit bundle, along with PDF Pen for iPad and iPhone for $21.99 US. Alone, PDF Pen Scan Plus is $6.99, and PDF Pen for iPad and iPhone is $19.99. So it's an incredible deal at $21.99 for both PDF Pen Scan Plus and PDF Pen for iPhone and iPad. The best scanner is the one you've got with you, so grab PDF Pen Scan Plus from the App Store today. Thank you so much to Smile for their support of this week's episode.
Sweet. Love those guys.
They
They're
are
best.
the very best.
So before personal questions, we're going to talk about the 6 Plus. Everyone's favorite phone, including the three of us, Jason Snell, Casey Liss. Lots of people love it. John asks a question that Federico is now going to read. See what I did?
Really nice introduction, Steven. Thank you. I was
hate
distracted in
myself.
thinking about my 6 Plus. What aspect of the 6 Plus is the hardest to get used to? Hashtag ConnectedQA. Mike, what is the what has been the hardest aspect of the 6 Plus for you?
I think it's obvious though, right? It's physical size. Like you have to get used to that. It's especially if you're coming like from what I did and I came from the 5. Like that's a big jump, and you have to get used to that. But once you
interesting, we disagree. Okay.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, but you didn't come from the 5. This is what I mean. We may have different ones because you came from the 6.
Yeah,
and one of the reasons I think that you two like it so much is because you were able to come from the 6, so you get a lot more of the benefit for not that much more space taken up. But for me, like I was coming from a device that like the entire device fits inside of the screen, right? It's like this. It was a huge jump, but I got used to it really quickly. But for me, it was the biggest thing. So now I'm interested in what you have to say, Federico.
Yeah, for me, it has been the inconsistency of landscape mode, because I really like how, like, the 6 Plus, and I think we talked about this before. It's like when you hold it in landscape mode, it's like a video game console, because at least the way that I like my grip on the device, it feels like holding like a PSP or a PS Vita, but it's an iOS device. So I get this landscape home screen, and I get apps in landscape, and it's not really like an iPad, but it's also not like an iPhone. And I really like this mode because I can keep my hands around the device, and I can use my thumbs to tap stuff around. And what I'm struggling to get used to is the software and hardware inconsistencies. From a hardware perspective, I really don't like how when you switch to landscape and when I wrap my hands around the device, the audio jack is basically right where my palm is.
Yeah.
And so because I use the Apple earpods, I don't have Bluetooth earbuds yet. When I put my right hand on the device in landscape, it feels like I'm crushing the little plug. So that's not that's not great. And also from a software perspective, I really don't like how some apps have been updated for the 6 Plus and they have the special mode for landscape, and others are not. And this includes Apple's own apps. Pretty sure the podcasts app is not compatible with the 6 Plus in landscape mode, and of course Twitter doesn't have landscape mode at all. So I really don't like when I'm like, okay, I want to switch to landscape mode, and then I start using my phone. Most apps have been updated for landscape, and then there's that particular app that forces me to switch back to portrait mode. That inconsistency has really been a struggle for me, and I do wish that in the future, at least developers will take better advantage of the 6 Plus special layout, because I'm not hoping for Apple to change the position of the audio jack, but at least apps could be better.
Apps can be better. That's a title.
The Federico Viticci story. I think for me, it was one-handed use. I use my 6 a lot one-handed. If I'm just walking around or doing something, we've got kids and whatnot. So sometimes I'm like doing something on my phone. All of a sudden they need something. So I'm like trying to transition from doing something on my phone, like put it in my pocket while I catch, the hot dog that's flying to the floor or whatever's happening. And the 6 Plus makes all that like one-handed interaction a little more awkward. Totally doable under the right circumstances, but I think for most people, including me, it's a two-hand device most of the time. But that said, I got used to it really quickly. I had mine for 2 weeks, and it was lovely, and I miss it, and I wanted to come back.
Federico, would you like to ask me the question that Chris has posed?
Has iMyke
Hello.
tried the at Viticci all landscape game controller style iPhone 6 Plus method? Have you?
Well, this is kind of what you were just describing, right? About how you like to use it in landscape.
Exactly.
And I definitely do, but I've been dealing with the frustrations that you have as well. And also, like, because so few apps supported this for a while, I've kind of got used to not using it that much. I do every now and then, but probably not as much as I could or maybe even should. There are some apps that support it really well, like Omni's apps are all starting to support this stuff really well because they're making their apps universal. So I think they're taking from what they're learning from the iPad and building in a lot more like split view control, which is really cool. But I think a lot of apps, it feels like some of the split view stuff that they're doing, it's like, as I think I mentioned before, it feels like a little gratuitous. It's like, oh, we can do this, so we'll just do it without anybody actually really understanding the utility. But in the year of Myke was right, where everybody switches to 6+, like I expect there to be changes in the way that people think about these things. I don't really. Not everybody will. A lot of people will, but my point there is like I think that it's like some of the problems that you see with the iPad, right? That maybe not a lot of developers use the iPad, so a lot of iPad apps go by the wayside, which I think was a conversation that we were having a few months ago. I think it's the same kind of thing with a 6+. Like people don't fully understand the device, so they don't think about how much utility you can add because they're kind of not used to it. So, but I do try and use it where I can.
So what happens, Myke, when the year of Myke is over?
We go to the year of Myke 2.
Oh, do you die?
We'll have to wait and see. That's the cliffhanger, I suppose. Like, what happened to Luigi? Well, Luigi went for like 18 months, right? So
when do you turn 27, Michael?
I already am 27.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, is there any significance to that? Oh.
No.
No. Uh-oh. Moving on. What do we have there? Oh, we have some stuff. This is in the category of miscellaneous Apple stuff. This comes from Zach. What are some of the new features that you would like to see in iOS 9? I'm going to restrict this to one thing, Federico, okay? Because we only have like 45 minutes left.
How am I supposed to pick one?
Because, as well, we have time to do this stuff later. We're approaching that time of the year. We'll have whole episodes dedicated to this.
Whatever.
Stephen, why don't you go first?
Thank you, Steve.
What do I want out of iOS 9? I would like the ability to set my extension order and it remember it between applications. That's all I want. No, nothing else. Right now, for instance, if you change your share extensions in Tweetbot and then you go to Safari, it's different again. And usually reading lists is at the front, and that makes me sad and angry. I just want better control over extensions and the way they appear and the way they work.
I would like to... I'm never going to get this. I would like to be able to set default email client as Mailbox instead of Mail. And maybe even set other types of app. Like I would like set Chrome as my web browser. Like I would like to be able to do all of that stuff instead of having to be pushed into the Apple apps that I do not use. I'll give you an example of a reason for this. So Federico sent me a draft of an article he's writing earlier, and it was a Dropbox link, right? And I opened it up in Dropbox, and then I opened into Safari, right? Because he sent it to me in messages. So I opened up in Safari. So I was like, fine, I'm just going to copy and paste this text into Byword, right? Because I get a nice preview of all the markdown. I think I like the way that it looks. So it's in Safari. I click the link to download the text, and it shows me like a list. It just shows me all the text in in its glory on the Dropbox website. Safari would not let me copy this text. Couldn't select it. Chrome could though. Safari couldn't. So I had to go through all that frustration. I had to open my great workflow of open URL in Chrome to be able to get these things to happen. Safari, man,
I'm
just
sorry.
go away.
I'm sorry you went through all this trouble.
It's not your fault. You'll be using Chrome soon anyway, so it won't be a problem.
No.
Federico, what is the one thing that you would like to see in iOS 9?
The one thing I would really like to see is more ways to activate extensions without going through the share sheet every single time. And if I had to pick one, or maybe allow me to, Michael, it would be one to be able to run extensions from the copy and paste menu. So for, selected text or for selected images, so that I can run, an extension, in different places. And the other extension-related wish would be to...
This is two things.
It's one thing in two flavors.
Ah, silly me.
It's I also would like to open a specific extension directly without having to choose it manually. So I don't know, like developers could have a one password icon in their apps, and I type the icon, and you know, I get presented with the one password extension
Right.
without picking the extension from the share sheet.
Yeah, because like and at many apps you press the one password button and it opens the share
Yep.
sheet. And I find some then just have the one password extension
Yeah.
in them, which seems so redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a really good one. Okay, so I believe that you two maybe could take this one, or maybe Stephen, you could do it. Whoever wants to do it. There's a lot of questions here, a lot of personal stuff.
Steven, let's make Steven pick this one.
Okay, Stephen Hackett, give us some personal stuff.
Oh, you don't have to ask me twice. Federico, what was your first screen name?
I really don't want to share this one because there will
I
be
don't want to share mine either.
there will be the creepy people looking into my past.
Yeah. I call foul on that question. Unless someone wants to share. I don't want to share.
Myke, do you want to?
Well, for as far back as I can remember, I've used iMyke, which is a significant problem for me because people find things and they like to show me them.
We remember when
we found your old Tumblr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that, and I had to delete it whilst we were on the air.
It was
Because you
really
started reading
upset.
things. Yep. Thanks again. So you guys won't share, but I was forced to share. So there we go. Next.
Next, we have a question about coffee. Federico, I'm going to let you read and answer this question all at once.
Okay. Why is Myke always right?
It's
Okay.
we know that part is correct. So it's
Okay. And is it okay to drink mocha from a Bialetti, which is a brand of coffee machines, when there is no espresso machine around? Well, it's always this is listener Bjui.
Yeah.
Listener Bjui. It is always right to drink mocha from a Bialetti when there's no espresso machine around. In fact, I will tell you a story. There was a time when I couldn't drink espresso because, I was going through treatments and my sense of taste was kind of weird. So for some reason, I really didn't like espresso anymore because it was too strong, and I switched to the mocha. And it was awesome. You can always have. In fact, I'm pretty sure most Italians, after lunch or dinner or whatever, they brew a mocha instead of a. It's not so common to have an espresso machine. It is far more common to have a mocha. At least most Italians. So yes, it is always okay. Don't be afraid.
I
not
don't even
afraid
understand half of the words in that question.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna I'm gonna say that Federico's right. See, Teach, you can be right
Oh,
too.
thank you.
Anytime.
I'm pleased.
It's a great feeling.
Steven, do you wanna tell us the name of the next listener?
Nope. But this person asks.
Oh no, let's go for it.
No.
Wojtek.
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 It's like the Polish Wozniak, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's Wojtek.
He asks what our favorite movies are and why Federico hasn't watched Star Wars.
Okay, so let's start for Star Wars and just get it over with. Because I didn't grow up with friends obsessed with sci-fi, and because my parents didn't tell me about the existence of Star Wars when I was little, and so I didn't have any sort of sci-fi influence to learn from. And when I grew up, I sort of, I was never into sci-fi because I was never, guided towards sci-fi. And when I started using Twitter and I saw that most nerds that I followed were obsessed with sci-fi, I thought it was kind of cool to be different. I never watched Star Wars.
That's fair.
It's
What's your
sad.
favorite movie?
My favorite movie?
Yes.
It's a stupid Italian comedy called Savages. It's
That was
no
almost
serious.
the name of our podcast.
It is so okay. Let me come clean here. I don't think I have a very developed taste in movies. I tend to like a lot of stupid stuff because I subscribe to the theory that because life is always so complicated, when I sit down and want to spend a couple of hours being entertained, I don't want to watch something heavy or too complex. I just want to unplug my brain and, laugh. And this is the reason why most of the TV shows and the movies that I watch are comedies, because I want to have a good time. Not saying that you cannot have a good time while you watch more, uh, involved material or, complicated movies with big themes and stuff. I do watch those type of, you know, entertainment every once in a while. I do like House of Cards and I do love Breaking Bad. It's just that most of the time I just want to have a good time and be stupid, if you know what I mean. And so there's this Italian movie. It's called Selvaggi. It means savages. And it's from the 90s, and it's a really, really silly movie.
I'm
And
struggling to find this on like.
Oh, sure. Let me send you a link. And every time it is on TV, it's from 1995. So every time it's on TV, I watch the movie, and I laugh like an idiot. And it reminds me when I was young, when I first watched this movie, and it's full of old Italian pop culture, which is always funny. I mean, I guess that there's also a favorite movie from the serious kind of library. I don't know. I'm really not a movie person. I like Harry Potter movies.
All right,
I'm sorry, guys.
We're just naming movies now. What about you, Mike?
Back to the Future, I think.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Ah, you're so cliche.
Sorry.
Wow. How did Federico keep himself busy if he didn't sleep on his flights to and from California?
Well, first off, those people need to be listening to Virtual, don't they, Federico, where you explained what you did.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I stared into the nothingness of the plane because it was, they turned off the lights and I could only see, the seat in front of me and a bunch of lights a few meters away. And I also looked at the presentation my plane neighbor was working on, and it was really boring. Then I guess for 20 minutes I looked at the screen with the movie he was watching, also without audio, of course.
Wow.
And then I just stood there and I ordered some food and some drinks. Not much, actually. And then I just kept thinking about not crashing. Yeah.
So
That
much
was
fun.
11 hours of
Didn't do
thinking.
anything.
Yeah.
Why don't we go for the next question from Joe? How about
What
Let's see.
are our
Can I
favorite
pick
colors?
this one?
that? Yeah, of course
Oh.
you can.
Steven, what's your favorite color? Mike, what's your favorite color? Dici qual è il tuo colore preferito?
You rearranged his Italian for him.
Yeah, because I need to
Okay.
to
Well, when I was a kid, I always said that my favorite color was orange. I guess it was, but it's kind of not anymore. But I still say it anyway. But I actually, I don't really own a lot of orange things. I guess I maybe tend more towards like blue, but I still keep orange as the one that I say is my favorite color. So there you go.
Do people ask you what's your favorite color?
You just did.
No,
Well,
Joe did.
Joe just did.
Well, Joe did via you.
Okay, Steven, what about your color?
It's black.
That's not even a color. It's a shade.
Yes, it is. Wow.
It's not a color.
So
Black's not a
technical,
colour. Like,
Myke.
black
Wow.
Everything looks better in black.
If it's black, it's not a color.
Well,
Oh, now we're gonna get all the follow-up from the color experts.
And they'll tell
What
you
a-
that black is not the color. A color. That's what the color experts will say.
what about you, Teach?
I really don't have a favorite color, but if I mean, at gunpoint, I would pick red.
No one's gonna ask you at
guess.
gunpoint.
I don't know. I don't have one. But let's just say red is my favorite color. Yeah, red. It's cool. It looks red.
It's like, no,
You
don't
know?
mug me. No, I don't want your wallet. I want to know what color I should paint my house.
Pretty much.
Ben asks, obviously because of your endless mocking of me, how old are each of you, and how long have you been on the Apple platform? So
Steven is 42, and he's been on the Apple platform for 36 years.
I'm 29, and I've been on the platform since 2000 and 2001. I have a article that I'll put in the show notes about my introduction to the Mac. What about you guys?
I am 27, I think, and I have been on the Apple platform since 2004, 2005, something like that.
Well, I'm 19, and no one interrupts me.
Just gonna let you keep going and see where you end
No.
up.
Okay, I'm 26, turning 27 in August, and I've been on the Apple platform since October, November, maybe October, maybe December. I don't know. Just say
Late.
late 2008. Yeah.
So Stephen is either the winner or the loser.
No, definitely the winner. What was so
It's definitely
Mike?
the oldest.
I know yours was the first Intel iMac, right? Federico, you had a MacBook or a MacBook Pro.
Late 2008. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a classroom full of iMac G3s, and then eventually a titanium PowerBook. So I think I win. I think that's what we're learning here.
Yeah, but you had to deal through more of the rubbish time than we did.
That is not untrue.
So maybe we win.
Maybe.
Huh.
So yeah. So what's the next question?
Last question to Myke and Federico. Since you do the live recording at night, how do you keep yourselves awake and alert? This is from Shaf. I don't think I do. I don't do anything specific. Like I don't drink coffee to stay awake or anything like that. This is my job, so I kind of have to stay awake. You know. Sometimes you will hear me, maybe mainly on analog, like get a bit sleepy because sometimes I record that show at midnight. So maybe if I'm ever sleepy, it's on that show. Or there was this one episode of Command Space I did with John Siracusa once, which I recorded at 3 a.m. That I was very tired in that one.
Well, I don't use drugs.
Why do you
I
feel like
do-
you always have to tell people that? Like
You
it
talk about
sounds
drugs a lot.
more like it sounds more suspect.
Defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't say it.
I think because I can, you know, I can be assumed to be a drug person for some reason because because I tend to, I go out and I enjoy partying and that sort of stuff. So maybe there's an assumption. Just wanna be clear, you know.
Okay.
Just want to make sure people don't get the wrong idea.
Right.
That's all. I do drink coffee, espresso, which is the real coffee, as everybody knows.
It's also the real drug.
So it's the real drug, yeah. And I guess the main point is that I have adjusted my schedule to be more sort of American.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But see, I thought that would happen for me, but I kind of go to bed at like 2 or 3 in the morning and wake up at 9. So I feel like I'm not doing that properly.
Interesting.
Mm.
You're close to it.
I used to go to bed at like 6 p.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And for the past few months, I've been trying to be more, decent and go to bed at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. tops. So it's not like I'm really American. It's more like I'm in the middle of the ocean, time zone wise. Um, but yeah, I a big part of my because basically right now it's almost midnight, so it would be like, it, I mean, most Italian people go to bed now, but for me it's like 6 p.m. maybe. Yeah, kind of 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So I feel strong and energized.
So, on that strong and energized note, we have come to the end of this week's episode. And so I think that we have sufficiently aired some cues today. Would you guys agree that we have done that?
It was always a fun episode to do.
Feels good.
If you want to find our show notes for this week, you can go to relay.fm/connected/32. I will not be here next week. I'm going to be traveling. And then the week after that, we're going to maybe record it a different day so I don't have to miss 2 episodes because I will miss my friends on Connected. So I'm going to be at all next week.
Feels to me like you're always traveling, Myke.
I travel a lot these days, Federico, but so do you now.
Do I really?
Recently, you've traveled the furthest out of all of us. You went
Once,
all the way to California.
Just for 2 days.
Still distance, my friend. I've not been to America this year, I don't think.
Yet, then you will go like 3 times in 2 months.
That's not actually too wrong. It's pretty close to that, I must say. But yeah, you can look out for these guys next week. I'm sure they'll have a very fun show. I always enjoy listening to Connected when I'm not on it, because I like this show. I do like this show. I'm sure that you like it too, and if you like it enough that you would like to interact with us on a social brand engagement level, you can follow Federico. He's at Viticci, Viticci. Stephen is at ISMH, and I am at IMYKE on the Twitter, and we are _ConnectedFM as a show, as a sentient show being, which Stephen sometimes nudges in the right direction. Thanks again to our sponsors this week, our friends over at Bushel and Smile with their great app PDF Pen Scan Plus for the iPhone and the iPad. But thanks most of all to you guys for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.
Arrivederci.
Adios.